Hello, gentlemen. Will Gasper in the Cadillac office of Hospice of Michigan. Welcome back. It's been a little while since I've been able to successfully navigate the technology that's available to me. And so I apologize for my absence. But I just wanted to jump on and give you a recap of the July 6th meeting we had with a group of 10 of the Men Overcoming Loss group. And we had a wonderful conversation. And we started out by recapping what was most appreciated when we got together in the three separate areas of the state back in the week of June 22nd, 23rd, and 24th, as we had meetings in Leroy, Grand Rapids area, kind of over toward Granville, and then over in the southeast, hosted by Wes Lawton and Ron Grease. They all the men that joined, I guess there were 9, 4, 13, 14 guys that actually joined those altogether, all those three meetings. And they said how good it was to get together face to face. And as we proceed to the end of this pandemic, the restrictions about coming face to face will be lifted. I know that for sure. It's just a question of when. And so we hope to resume the hybrid model, where those of you in each location could join in a meeting room, in a conference room in one of our offices, so that we could do some processing face to face after the meetings are over. And so we're still considering where those locations will be. I'm sure that we'll have some announcement here very soon, hopefully by the third weekend, third Tuesday, excuse me, in August. Wes and Ron Grease and David Keller will be able to provide that information. We would like to be able to open up our offices in like I said, a hybrid situation in September, but that is yet to be decided. But we're keeping our fingers crossed. Another thing that happened during the face-to-face meetings that we had that week in June, those three separate meetings, is that the gentleman that came spoke about how lonely they are as they go through their grief journey, and how dating isn't really in the works for most of them, although several men have begun a dating type of relationship with another woman, but it's more they called it companionship, getting together, not really having any hopes or dreams of furthering the relationship in any sort of way, just to have someone to go see a movie, go have dinner, go have a cup of coffee, you know, discuss a book that both of them have read, those sort of things, just someone to interact with. And that is the theme of the rest of the July 6th meeting that we had virtually. We had 10 participants, and for the most part, everyone agreed that there's nothing wrong with having a companion while you're still grieving your spouse. Having someone to, again, go have dinner with, or lunch, or visit a park. the art gallery, someone that to share those experiences with is okay. And one gentleman said, I do have a companion, but I've told her right up front because she lost her husband. He told her up front, I'm not really interested in actually getting another partner. What I'm interested in is someone who talks to me, who knows a little bit more about me than the stranger on the street, and somebody I care about in their lives as well. Um, Getting to meet their friends, perhaps their families, and that's all a personal decision with each and every person, male or female. That's just the way it is. It's a personal decision on how much you want to get involved in that person's life. And of course, it could happen that you decide to get more involved, going to perhaps birthday parties, being labeled a very special friend, that sort of thing. And it's okay. That is your decision when you are ready. I do know that several men that I've met in my life have actually remarried within a year of their spouse's passing. That's not meant for everybody. That's not everybody could actually go through something like that guilt free. And but I know those two men that I met a few years back would say that they did their grieving while their spouse was losing their battle of cancer. And so when the death actually occurred, they were ready to pick up the pieces right away. But that's not for everybody. That rarely happens, that a person, male or female, could actually turn direction and move on to actually that dating process that's happening. And of course, the dating websites, are full of lonely men, lonely women, and I would imagine, because a female's life expectancy is considerably longer than a male's life expectancy, that there are probably more women on these dating sites looking for companionship and possibly a relationship. So if and when you decide to go that route, be very careful about the interest of a female posting and that dating site. I, for one, have been married for 43 years and have no inclination to even, look at those dating sites. But I hear reports from my single buddies who have gone that way. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. But I guess it'd be appropriate if you are single and looking for some companionship and are upfront about that. This gentleman I mentioned earlier, that had that special friend, has made it known to her what his intentions are. And he has no tolerance for playing games or being someone who he isn't. And that's a good piece of advice. Be very firm on what your intentions are with whoever you meet. And that way there's no surprises. But if you do enjoy each other's company, take it one step at a time. If it's just a companion that you find, then go with it as long as that's comfortable. There's nothing wrong. There's no timetable about when that could or should happen. Every person is different. Every loss is different. So just take it on your timetable, and that's okay. We also talked about removing clothes and items from a house, from the couple's home, where some folks like to reclaim the space in the bedroom closet, not necessarily giving those clothes away, but certainly offering some of the clothes or some of the apparel, purses, shoes, those sort of things, maybe even jewelry, to the daughters, the granddaughters, close female friends that might be interested. I know that's what my father-in-law did after my mother-in-law passed away in 2002. Only some. He kept the majority of the belongings of my mother-in-law just because he had a sentimental relationship with those things. Other folks, mostly men, have told me that they can still smell the perfume on those clothes, and for them, it's comforting to know that the scent, the aroma of that perfume still lingers, and that's reassuring and comforting for those men. Others prefer to keep something more sentimental, such as pictures, of course, keeping those hanging up, or perhaps a special jewelry or pendant that they purchased for their wives. And then they get rid of the clothes. They offer them to the family, and they offer them to Goodwill, Salvation Army, those sort of things, church yard sales, those sort of things, to maybe pass along these articles to other females that might be able to use them, and then in the process, keeping those other things, non-clothing related, that are special keepsakes of their wives. So whatever you choose, gentlemen, that's okay. The important thing is to possibly hold off that first year, that after your wife dies, so that you don't regret giving anything away. Use that time, that first year, to go through your normal calendar, keeping sacred all those big decisions to be made after that first year anniversary. And that's another thing that we talked about, as many of our participants and men overcoming loss are or have met that 1 year anniversary head on. And some say how they surely missed their wives. They planned on being alone. Some planned on being with children. Some went to a grave, their spouse's grave. Some just stayed home and looked out on the horizon. And for some, that was the lake that they lived on. Some was the backyard where they fed the birds. and the squirrels, of course. If you're feeding birds, you're probably feeding squirrels. But it's all your choice about how you spend that birthday, that first birthday after the death, the anniversary, your wedding anniversary after the death, your first anniversary of their passing. It's all up to you. Whatever you would make you feel at ease or give you some peace, that's what you need to choose. Because nobody can force you to do something you're not really comfortable with. But give it some thought. Another take home a piece of advice from some of the men was don't over anticipate it. Don't overwork yourself thinking about how am I going to do it, why am I going to do it, when am I going to, when am I going to have that plan ready? Because most of the time, that extra energy putting toward your anxiety about those dates is really a waste of energy. Think about your plan and evaluate it well before those anniversary dates, those special occasions, and then stick with it. Or cancel what you were thinking and come up with something else. I know of one man who took his children and grandchildren to the gravesite, and they released balloons and sang their wives' favorite song with the children and grandchildren, pitching in and singing as well. So, gentlemen, there's a lot of things going on. There's no question about it. I encourage you to keep in touch with our Hospice of Michigan Men Overcoming Loss group. Even just coming to the HOM.org website to see the videos posted there, to see the other groups that are offered, loss of spouse, loss of parent. Those are all free to you to register. Some have a cap on the registrants, so register as soon as possible when you see them, and always give and feel free to give Wes Lawton or I an email. Send us an email, David Keller, and it's for Wes. It's wlawton@hom.org. For David Keller is D Keller, KELLER @hom.org, and for myself, W Gasper @hom.org. So until next time, gentlemen, hang in there and know that you've got plenty of support here with HOM. Take care.